Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. I'm a buddy Rhett, and I have a nut for her. I do not know what kind of nut this is. It's just like we have assorted nuts. I don't even know. I think she can crack these by herself because the skin isn't that strong, but I did use the nut cracker to put a little crack in it right there, just in case it's too much for Rhett to handle. Anyways, here we are. We're waiting for this thing to start up, and it dawned on me yesterday that I do not want to do this. Checked mode equals ST. What I really want to do is listen for changes in the router and then update this mode based on the changes in the router. And then when you click it, that's Adobe Acrobat. Access to your free PDF tools. Woohoo! So that's the first commercial I've seen today. I've kind of try to cut off. I used to kind of hop on to TikTok and stuff like that first thing in the morning um, every day. Like that was kind of how I would sort of start my day. I would kind of play a couple of games, grinder kind of games that I have, um, and then watch a little bit of TikTok and then kind of get started. And I just found like it's just a bit overwhelming. That's a lot for your brain to process in a day. Like while I should be processing kind of things going on at work and this show and stuff like that, personal family things, I'm actually just draining my brain into TikTok. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, the I have these and I have them set up to based on like a no mode equals st, which I think is fine. Like, but I think this should be a signal, not a value. And signals are pretty new, relative new. I guess pretty new is a bit too. It's new, it's older than that. It's older than pretty new, but it is relatively new compared to like routing and stuff like that. So, but and it's just so easy to kind of start trying to wire things up directly from your TS to your um to your entities, no, data, um your TypeScript to your template, which is kind of like the whole point of Angular anyways. Like that was sort of the original of Angular JS. The original idea was that you'd magically have all these template things that you could do just like regular HTML. And we've kind of gotten away from that. Um, and then, they have like ngIf, stuff like that, and that's all really good stuff. But I think the direction they end up going in is more like the signals direction, where like in your template you listen to a signal, and then that avoids all the issues with like where you get the something changed before it was updated on the screen. Like they got that all worked out there. But if you notice, like when I change these, the router changes, and then when the router changes, I believe that's what causes these to change. I'm not 100% true, but see on this, when I click this, it does not change the router. And really, what I'd want it to do is if I click on 3, then I want this to go to 3 like this. And then if I click on ST, then I want this to go to entities, right? So that's how I want this to happen. And then see, this is setting a variable on my TypeScript, but I don't really want to set a variable on my TypeScript. I want to change the route. And then I want whatever's listening for the route to say, oh, okay, I'm in, or whatever's, yeah, if there's anything in the TypeScript that cares, it should be listening to the route. And then this hopefully can listen directly to the route, or at least some other value. Because I think I do have a service that returns the text 3 at this point. Let me see if I have that in my console logs. Yes, the routing layout type 3. Um, And see now, routing ST mesh is my routing detail type, whereas over here was my 3, and that is in my app data layout. So my app data layout's already listening for these changes, and it knew. So basically, I want to listen to the signal to set these variables. I will tell you though, I think so I got assigned a task at work, a pretty big task, and I honestly thought it was going to take like 2 or 3 days to do it, and it ended up taking me like a half a day to do it. And while I was coding that, like I never ever once in the coding process dipped into like a sort of a primal non-English just coding grinding flow state. I was like the whole time I was just like, oh, okay, this is happening now. Okay, this is where I do this now. Literally every step of the way. It was crazy how much faster that was and how much cleaner the code was because every step of the way I was able to I was able to say a line, say words that I couldn't before. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, then we copy this, and I'm not exactly sure what that does, but I think it results in this. That's how coding used to be for me. Now it's like line to line. Now that is only possible because I've been working at this place for a couple of years now, so I've been able to sort of imprint my way of doing things, not exclusively, right? I work with like 8 people. We all have our ways, but I've been able to influence sort of how the code is written and stuff like that. Because I think if I was just like a contractor and I came in, I was looking at code I hadn't seen before, I would still have to do like copying entire things and all that. But anyways, I do think that this process of of making videos of me writing code has made me a much better software developer. But anyway, so now I want, instead of mode here to be 3, I want whatever that was on line 58. Or was it 58? Let's see. Maybe it was 60 something. Line 68. Line 68. So this. So routing, see, we have our routing layout detail type. So I believe we can say current routing service, current route, and type. Like I think we can just say that inside of our template. And I think this would have been highly frowned upon. Is it private? Did I make it a private? Oh, it's private. Wow, that was pretty cool. So probably, I don't know. Oh, this is something I used to do. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think this was a good idea. I remember I was like, back when I kind of came up with this idea, I was like, every kind of signal I listen to, I should set at the top. So, anyways, we want this to not be private because we want to be able to access it directly in the server in there. Now, I like making things private if you can. And I think this is a perfect example of like when you look at 37, you know that nothing in the publisher service is on the screen, which I bet you that is maybe, yeah, I'll probably use that to figure out when I do the ST layout or the other layout. Um, Now, can I do this? Did I not save it? Maybe I didn't save it. Because is it still complaining that it's private? Oh, okay. So I'm going to say if it's not equal to 3, because ST isn't a type. So if it's not equal to 3, this is checked. But if it is equal to 3, that is checked. And that's because on the ST side, there's a whole bunch of different values. Now, this may not work for me in the long run, but it should work for me in the short run. And I don't exactly know what the long run looks like, so all right. So I'm saying that if it's anything other than 3 in the URL, it should um, ST should be checked. And I think if we do have a 3, right? Do we have it? Yeah, we have 3 here. Oh yeah, did you see that? Now let's look at our console log, and we don't have any issues. So if I go over here, and so let's see what happens if I do this. And then we go to all ST entities. And then if we go to 3, and I'm not going to try to sit here and tell you that this is a good idea, right? Like that this was um, ideal. The way we're doing this, going straight to the service, is ideal. But I will say it's works really well, and it's the best solution we have at the moment. It's not the ideal solution. I think ideally it'd be a lot better if we could just tie directly to things in the TypeScript, but I think it's just like lessons were learned. As the Angular team developed things, they learned lessons, and then they applied those lessons to the when they brought in signals later, they applied the lessons, and then the lessons ended up being really good. And so now signals just works better than the other ones. It's not that it is a better solution, it just works better. And that's really all I care about. All right, so now what would be nice is now we can like ngIf around these. So right now we're showing, all we're doing is showing the mode in here. So, which is weird. Oh, okay. Actually, before I do that, do I care about the mode? I don't even know if I care about the mode anymore. I feel like I should get rid of the mode. Let's get rid of the mode. But I guess we mode. Really what we want in here is not mode. We want this. We want to know if it's 3 or if it's something other than 3. And then this one should only show up if it's 3. All right, so that should work. It should reload. And now, as you see, oh yeah, because this isn't tied to the router. This is tied to that local thing, so we want to change the route. The same way we're doing it for this dropdown. We want to change the route. And so if they click this, we want to go to here. And we actually have a whole Cypress test that tests for that kind of thing. But for now, I don't think we want the mode anymore. The mode needs to go away. That was like sort of an old habit. It was a good habit. It was a very, very good habit, but it was an old habit. And that old habit, unfortunately, did not survive through no fault of its own. Like it was a good one. Okay, layout change. All right. And so how do we set the route? Because we already do this. Apply user filter. It's not that one. Table transform, toggle row. Menu changed. Routing detail. This set routing details, routing layout type. The data. So it looks like this is probably, yeah, this is probably what I'm doing, something along these lines. So we want to do something along these, this line. I'm assuming this sets routing detail. So, and routing layout type, I think, I don't, that, okay, that ends up being data. So the word data. And then this is our routing detail type, which for us will either be 3 or entities. Those will be the only 2 choices we do. But for now, just for funsies, I'm just going to hard code it because that's how I like to have fun. So we're just going to set our routing type. So const routing. Let's just copy this. And this is of type. I can't even remember. I think I did it down here. Routing layout type. Actually, let's just go ahead and copy this whole line. So this is where we set like that it's got to be data up there in the first thing. And then over here for routing detail type, it can only be 1 or 2 choices, and we're just going to hard code it for now. Const routing. Copy this. I have more energy than I normally do. I'm pretty sure it's because I have been skipping my morning routine of ST or 3 of social media. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's like the less you use social media, the better results you get. And it's kind of a bummer that like if if you use social media for 1 hour a day, you'll get like the best videos for exactly what you like. The algorithm will feed you really well. But if you sit on social media for 12 hours a day, it's going to give you like crazy stuff. I don't even know how to describe it because it's just outside of my understanding. 3. So this should always set the route to 3 no matter what. There we go. And see how it fixed everything. And this is that. Now, I might get rid of, well, so I don't know. I'm going to leave it. I would never be able to get, this is just too weird for most people. But, oh, that is nice. And it's kind of cool because like I click on this and it fixes that. Like all this stuff is just, I guess because I tied it all together with the signals, it's all just working. I don't even necessarily understand why that's working, just because that's something I built out earlier. But basically, we will only allow it to be 3 or ST. So basically, it's the same sort of logic of, where is it? On layout change, if this event, so I believe const event value, and that's going to be a string, I'm pretty sure. And this is equal to event dot value. Okay, so that's kind of cool because what it did was it just validated that the event value was 3. I mean that the event value is in fact a string. So that's nice. Now we want to turn this into a let instead of a const. And we could use a ternary, and I don't think it would be that hard for me to sort of get my mind into doing ternaries, but ternaries are notoriously difficult to unit test. So, and not only that, but they're very, very difficult to expand on. So anyway, so if event value is not equal to 3. So if it's anything other than 3, then our routing layout type is ST. Oh no, it's not ST, it's entities. It's so wild how you can get, um, let's just make sure that that is in fact entities. Yeah, entities. It's just so wild that you can get like, because entities and ST, I guess, I don't know. Entities. So entities is when we want to see all the ST stuff. So entities is like ST plus, and it makes sense in this context to call it entities, but there's other contexts where it's better just to call it an ST. So 3 ST, 3 ST, 3. So we know when so I don't know which one we want to stick with, entities or ST. Um, and I don't know, is it better? No, I mean, we're already tied into the entities, but I don't think I want to call this entities. I want to call this ST. So this is just ST for me because it's easier as a reader, but all that. Anyways, it is 9 o'clock, so I gotta go. I got work. Have a wonderful day, guys. It's Friday, May 8th. Bye. Happy coding.